Okay, welcome to the Soul-Led Revolution with me, your host, Yolandi Bossoff. And I am super excited today to have the gorgeous Buckso Dylan Woolley with me. And she is known as the Vibrant Sage, and she is also the founder of the Online Academy for the Conscious Performer. She is a author, she is an actor, she is a healer, she is a coach. So Buckso, welcome today, and please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you, how you came into the space where you are right now.
Thanks, Yolandi. Yes, indeed. As you said, I am a performer. I'm an actor, speaker, voiceover, singer, all of that on the performing arts side of things. And then the other side of me is the healer, the one that's seeking truth, is embracing her spirituality, and really finding out more and more as she gets older about who she is and why she's actually here on this earth right now.
I love that. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your journey, like how, because I mean, obviously there's this performer part of you and all of that, but then this like this whole spiritual side of you. So tell us a little bit more about like how you got into all of the woo-woo, all of the energy stuff, all of that, and how did that happen for you?
Well, I've always been interested in everything spiritual since I was about 19, 20. I was seeing psychics way back then, and I'm 49 in December. So, not long, couple of months' time, I'll be 49. So, I've been going for a good 30 years
Yeah.
in this other world, esoteric world. And I don't really know why I had this interest, but it was always about like anybody who goes into seeking spiritual counsel is wanting the answers. Okay, because at the time in life, being the middle child of six children born to first generation Indian immigrants to the UK, there was always questions for me. I don't know why me out of six of us. I was sort of already predestined to be somebody that challenged the narrative. And
Yeah.
I recognize that in myself looking back now, because when I was 13, I sang a theme tune to a popular kids TV program here in the UK that was popular in the 80s. I didn't know I had a voice. I didn't know I could sing because I wasn't exposed to after school clubs then. That wasn't a thing really where you
Yeah.
could find out is that you loved and became passionate about. So as a result of that and the euphoria that I felt from being in a studio and in that environment, I was like, I like this. Oh yeah, I love this. I want to do more of this. And I went to him and said to my mom and dad, I want to be a singer. And they looked at me like, yeah, and we just want to make sure that 8 of us get fed on a daily basis. Off you go, you and 20,000 other people, And of course, it's understandable now because they were just first generation immigrants of 6 kids trying to function. And yet
Yeah.
they've got the daughter here, the middle child, rocks up saying she wants to be a singer. And it's like, what? You don't stand a chance. Because, of course, where they were coming from, a a survival point of view,
Yeah.
a racial aspect. They were new to this country. They didn't know how it worked. And then you were talking about wanting to be a singer. What does that even look like? You even do that? They were not educated. They didn't have any contacts or connections. So anyway, I totally understand where they're coming from. But I harbored this dream, and I took art, music, drama, and the other lessons that you had to take at school. I left school with no qualifications at all whatsoever. And as a result of that, my dad saw it as a green light, as I would then not be going on to further education. You can come and run a family business.
Yeah.
So that was it. We moved areas, and I moved from somewhere called Stoke-on-Trent to Derbyshire, where I'm at now, in 1989. And I was running my dad's business before I was 17. And that was pretty much what I did most of my life, really, from the age of 11, working in his ice cream van and then working in his market stalls that he had
Yeah.
after that. And then I went on to work in the family business till I was 23, 24, when I decided I had to break away from what was to come and the expectation, the cultural expectation of marrying somebody they wanted me to marry. And I'd seen my 3 elder sisters go through that, and I didn't like the energy around it. I was like, they're crying. My mum and dad are crying when they say goodbye to them. Why would you do that? Why is that? Why is that a thing that we do? It's going to be for me. I don't know how it's going to work. That is not for me. I didn't know how I was going
Yeah.
to live any other life, but I knew that that way wasn't for me. And I think that is something I did from a very young age. Became very convicted in my thought processes and the intention. And I can recognize that intention backed by such energy as to
Yeah.
how the law of attraction comes into play today, knowing what I know about, how we manifest. So I was already doing that law of attraction thing before I was 16,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to me. So I went through life still wanting to be a singer, still wanting to be an actor, but it took a back seat because life took over. And I went through life doing everything, quote, wrong, because I culturally wasn't towing the line. I just
Yeah.
wasn't somebody who towed the line culturally. So I married out of my culture to an English chap who'd been together 23 years. And unfortunately, that was also meant the death of my relationship with my family and my
Okay.
culture. So I lost my identity overnight. Everything that I knew, everything that I understood, the way of life, all got burnt to the ground the day I chose a new path for myself.
Yeah.
And thereafter, a lot of depression ensued, a lot of dark days. And so I knew, I mean, that was in 1998 and 2000, I knew I had to start doing something for myself. So I started the journey of healing and started looking at Reiki and having Reiki done, and then trained in it. I trained in it 3 times because I met different people and I was like, oh, wish I'd done my Reiki with you. Oh, let me just do my Reiki with you again. So I did it like 3 or 4 times with different people. God, did I pay some money up the wall there. But I knew that that was something that was inherent in me. And I still went on to see psychics and things throughout the years just for guidance. And I went through a lot of emotions. Now I look back, I went through a lot of stuff and I went through it all alone.
Oh.
I didn't have any help. I didn't know that I could get help. I didn't know what that looked like. Because as
Yeah.
far as I was concerned, my self-talk was made your bed, lie in it. This is what
Mm.
you wanted, isn't it? Well, this is the ramifications of that decision. So suck it up, buttercup, and being in hindsight, now I know, being really tough and harsh on myself, not showing myself any love at all.
Yeah.
And, I recognize that now and healed a lot of that over the last couple of years. And so when I had twins 19 years ago, and when they were 7, I still harbored this need to be an actor. So I went into acting in the background, which
Mm.
isn't really an actor, but I just thought it'll be enough. At least I'm on set because I've got no qualifications. I can't do anything else. And so a year after doing that, a friend of mine introduced me to a guy he'd met on set, saying that he was an agent now and setting up his own business. And would you like to go and see him?
Yeah.
Which I did, and auditioned pretty badly, but I took direction well. So he took me on. Long story short, 13 years ago, he took me on. And my first job was 3 months later on Coronation Street.
Oh.
So it holds a very special place in my heart. Coronation Street does. So I'm probably last year, February, it was my 6th appearance over the 13 years of
Yeah.
being on Corrie, and I did 6 episodes, so the most I'd ever done as well.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But that's been the journey to date so far regarding that. But like I say, I've always had my finger in the spiritual pie, as it
Mm.
were. But it became even more not I don't want to say controlling of me, but it took over. It took over my life after my dad passed away in
Okay.
January 2020, last year, January 2020. And it totally opened up a part of me that I didn't even know existed.
God.
And when I talk about going to the depths, of the soul and the dark night of the soul, I went to the Mariana Trench of my soul, and it is not something, and I'm so grateful that I wasn't doing it alone because I realized, over the last few years, this sort of thing I didn't have to do alone, but I did do
Mm.
it alone, and it took me longer and it was harder. And so that kind of became a mission for me to want to help other people through this because I know it happens to every single one of us. We just don't, we're in denial. We just deny
Mm.
it. So when my dad passed away, it started the unraveling of another layer of healing in me that I didn't know needed to be done. And
Mm.
I had no control over that. That was happening whether I liked it or not, because I was already further on in my journey than Joe average. It was going to happen, especially with the ascension of what's going on globally. It was predestined to happen. I had no
Yeah.
choice over it. And so I discovered the whole other side of myself. And I thought I was spiritual before that. But I was only scratching the surface with the possibilities of that realm. And I realized that the whole question about why am I here? You hear people say it left, right, and centre. It's bandied about, really willy-nilly, in my opinion. And I was embarrassed to even say that phrase because I was like, gosh, can't I say something else to say the same thing? Have I really got to just say, why am I here? Because it's so trite. It's so, I know, it's the question we all ask ourselves, love, but it's like, no, I mean it. I mean it. I'm really, really asking you, why am I here? Because you better tell me what the hell I'm here to do. Otherwise, you need to take me now and end this now because I do not want mediocrity. I never wanted mediocrity. I never wanted an easy life. I know that. I picked the tough path on purpose because I didn't want to settle for mediocrity. So I wasn't about to start now. And I just looked at my dad's timeline. He came here when he was 17. He did this, he did that. And I went through chronologically. And then he retired from the same place that he went back to, that he worked at when he was in his early 20s. He went back to that place in his 60s and then retired. And then 9 years later passed away. And I was just like, so what was all that for then? Looking across all the, why did that happen then? What was that for? Is that all we do here? Is that all we do is just come here to measure timelines and just like go through different stages of life and experiences and hardship for fucking nothing, And it's like, no way, man. I'm not here for that. There's got to be more to what we're doing than we are giving credibility to. And there's so many of us that are walking around with our eyes closed, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just taking a life and just existed throughout it all, and then you'll die. Oh wow, great. No judgment here for those people who have that point of view, but it just wasn't enough for me. That was not the one for me, and I was quite impassioned about that. And I was like, right, well, he came to this country at 17, and I better make sure that I do something with that life that I was fortunate to get as a result of him being in this bloody country. I'm not going to sit around on my arse and just underachieve. Okay, I didn't do anything academically, but what can I do? How can I make a difference in people's lives? I didn't make a difference through acting, Yes, Netflix entertained a lot of people for this last 18 months in the pandemic. I appreciate that now. That's when it came into its own. I was like, okay, that's what actors, that's why we're actors, because we kept you sane during this mad time, right? I'll let them have that. But really, what else do we do as performers? Okay, singers can touch the heart. Musicians can also touch the heart. It's healing. I love sound, vibration, and everything is amazing for that. So I know we do change a person's physiological setup through music and things, but I wanted to do more. So that's why after the passing of my dad, all the healing that went on in my body, I'd got rheumatoid arthritis that was diagnosed in 2016, and that really took hold, like a whole nother level, because of all the stagnant energy that was in my body that had been trapped, suppressed, oppressed over the 25 years that I'd not dealt with, because I was just so masculine energy, do all the time, just functioning, surviving. And then, of course, I've tried to restore the balance now with that, and it's opened up a whole other can of worms that need to be dealt with. And yes, it's not nice, and a lot of people could probably be sat there listening now thinking, oh God, I'm not doing any of that then. But honestly, it's not to put anybody off, it's to enlighten you even more to the possibility of living a life in liberation, more liberated than you've ever known. And that's exactly what I feel like right now. I'm stood at the other side of this huge, rapid, raging river and stretching my hand out to people to come across the tight wire that's across the river, saying, look, please come and look over this here. The view and what you can see over here is amazing. You don't have to live like this, looking at that same shitty view of life. You don't have to do that. Come over here, please. Let me help you to come over here. And a lot of people are just happy to say, no, I'm staying here. And that's okay. But it's also sad that people are choosing to live life just so same, And I think that people, when we lose somebody, I've not lost anybody close to me before that, thankfully. And I think that when we do lose somebody close to us, or who had a huge impact in our lives, we are being given a golden opportunity. You might not feel it at the time, but my dad's passing was the best thing that happened to me, because it gave me a huge opportunity to heal, to recalibrate my inner sat nav, to reset my coordinates for the ship that I was traveling on in life, to a better and more calmer waters, right? And everybody has this opportunity. Everybody has this opportunity. It's not just, I'm not somebody special. I just chose to look inside a bit more as to why I was feeling, why I'd got these questions, instead of having people say, or become one of them people that totally got lost in drugs, alcohol, overworking, overeating, over gymming it, whatever, to excess, where people would say, yeah, she's never been the same since her dad died, or, you know, he's never been the same since his mum passed, or he lost his sister. People are not going to be the same. You're not going to be the fucking same person when something as catastrophic as that happens. And I say catastrophic loosely, even though it's a huge word. You're supposed to fucking change, right? That's the whole, you can't stay the same person. You've had something happen that's shaken the very core of you, whether you allow it in or not, based on how suppressed you keep your emotions. It's affecting you physiologically. It's affecting you. Trust me, it's affecting you. And it's your opportunity to do something about it, right? That's your chance to have another go at living your life differently, a different way, right? Otherwise, it's going to keep happening to you. You're going to keep losing people, whether it's through the ending of a relationship or a death, or they move away and you can't, you know, it's going to keep happening to you until you fix your shit. And so this is why it's also helped me to come to terms with it more so than my siblings, probably, who I know will deal with it in their own way. But the understanding, because I took on a whole new level of learning with this online coaching program that I'm currently in as a spiritual practitioner, where we are part of the New Thought Global movement, which is living life in spiritual principle and by universal law, non-religious, which I was very, very happy about, because I didn't want to have to be governed by religion, because it's an external source. The power away to something external, you are immediately disempowered. You have no say over your life. And I've done that for years, and I see myself around people that are doing that, and now I know the truth, which is what it's all about for me, becoming a speaker of truth and teacher of wisdom. That's my ultimate goal now. You know, the acting work, it'll come and go, but I want to go out there and speak on global stages. I want to speak the truth and teach people wisdom from back in the day. There's nothing new out there, guys, let's be honest, but it's the revelation that people will get for themselves, because the healing of the soul comes from the revealing of the truth, right? Knowing the truth about who we are.
And that deep remembering. And I mean, I think that's the thing, that like these big events in our lives, right? If you lose someone close to you, if you lose anything that like keeps you tethered to the old way of being, then it's going to rip you open, and it's going to like put you in that space of remembering. So I absolutely love what you're saying, because I think what's happening now is, like, we would say big bad things are happening to people so that they can start remembering who they actually are. And I think that's the thing, where if we start like looking at the changes in our lives from that perspective, oh my goodness, you know, because I love how you've taken this whole thing with your dad, which is one of the most intense experiences, and learned and changed and literally like recalibrated your whole life based on that experience.
Oh
So
my
for me,
gosh,
it's
you know,
beautiful.
it's just when I realize, it's interesting, because I didn't ever think, in this coaching program we talk about codependency a
Yeah.
lot, and I was thinking, you know, I've never been codependent, because I've been quite independent, you know, head down, got on with things. I had my first house at 24. I was always, you know, earning, go getting. Then the twins came along and everything got blown out of the water. And I realized, you know, over the years, that I have become dependent on my husband, in the sense of, like, you know, I pay my own way, but I don't contribute to the household bills and things. That came to light recently. I thought, wow, I am dependent then. I am codependent right now. And I realized as well, with my dad's passing, I realized in that moment that I'd been hanging all of my drive on him. I was
Yeah.
like, because when I was going through life just as a kid, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be this. Yeah, you and 20,000 others. And it was internally, it was always, I'll show you. I'm going to show you. I'll show you. I'll show you. And that's what I did throughout life, you know. I'll show you. I'm going to become an actor. Because obviously, like we said, we broke off all contact. I didn't see them for 7 years. And then I
Yeah,
went back and saw them after 7 years, and I could keep going back. I went with the kids now and again, but it wasn't the same. And my husband
yeah.
was never fully accepted, and my husband never fully sat down and had a conversation with my dad, which was sad because he probably would have been the best son-in-law that he'd had out of the six,
Mm.
five. But I realized in that moment, oh my gosh, who am I going to show now? Who am I doing what I'm doing for? Who am I
Yeah,
doing it for now? I realized all that drive and the determination was always with a view to, I'll show my dad. Yeah, he'll see I'm successful. Yeah, see, I got on telly. Yeah, I've been on telly. I've done it. I've done it. I've been on the stage. He came to watch me when I was on the West End stage for his
yeah.
70th, which was great. It wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it would have been. For me, it
Mm.
was quite an empty feeling because by that point I was past it. It was like, it was pointless, almost like, see, and I'm thinking, am I still doing that? Still, it's like, really, you've been at it 10 years now, book. So it's like, really, I think we can safely say you've shown him. But when
Yeah,
when he passed away, I realized how much I'd been holding on
yeah,
to that. And so then I just lost who I was. My identity went, I
yeah,
lost it again. It was like, who the fuck am I? No, really, who am I? Am I someone who always has to prove myself? And then that required more work, internal. Inner work is key to
yes,
becoming and remembering, like you say, the truth of who you are, you know?
yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that. So I want to speak for like 5 days, but obviously I have limited time. So I want to speak about your online academy. So quickly give us just a little bit of information on it, and just explain like what's the whole drive behind this thing? Where's it coming from? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, thanks for asking, because this is something as an actor that I didn't want to work with actors per se, because,
Yeah.
invariably they would be quite closed off. They're very fixed mindset, a lot of actors. But I thought to myself, well, there's got to be some out there that are conscious like me. There's got to
Mm.
be. There's got to be performers out there that think and feel the way I do and yet don't know quite how to access that part of them. And they
Yeah.
don't actually shout about it or announce it, but they're that way inclined and they like a crystal and lighting a candle and lighting an incense and having a moment. I know they exist. So that's why I thought I need to set this online academy up, a safe community, a safe space where I can teach them personal development. I don't need to teach you how to act, sing, or dance. There's plenty of facilities out there that do that, but there's nobody out there in these academies and performing arts that is showing you how to remove your limiting beliefs, how to
Yeah.
reprogram your subconscious mind, how to shift your identity, how to take back your power, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's telling these performers how to do that because they've been indoctrinated with the same old thing every time. Sing, act, dance, perform. Yes, go out there. You're in competition. Don't talk to anybody else. Make sure you keep everything close to your chest so you become distrusting. And that's
Yeah.
going to spill into your personal life and it's not healthy. So I
Yeah.
thought, I've got to do that. And I thought, I'll set up this membership where people pay this monthly fee, not a huge amount. And they have me for the moment for an hour once a month. And they also have a coach that I invite in that will
Yeah.
their personal development along with some workbooks that they could be working on in each topic. And
Yeah.
then I realized that there's a certain age group. So it has to start young from
Mm.
15 because they're going into the industry. They're open to the learning of it. And the parents of performers need support. So I'm
Yeah.
setting up the space for them as well so they can be in there and ask questions that they might not
Yes.
have anywhere else. And I will tell them the truth,
Yes.
about it. And
Yes.
so that was why it was imperative that I gave back somehow of my time in a economical way, because I don't want
Yeah.
to be, I'm heading towards 50 next year. By the time this is out, I'll be in my 50 years of doing, 50th year of doing 50 things. So I've got to do 50 things from December through till next year, 2022. So this will be one of those things, actually, I can count on my list of
Yay.
50. So this is it. I don't want to be working harder. I want to be
Mm.
working smarter, and
Mm.
giving energy where it's needed and
Yeah.
healing people in a group way, in a communicative way.
And I love that, because I mean the whole thing is that, like, with this show of mine is all about like being soul led, and it's really it's about like where are you at, and how can you make a difference in your community, and what you're doing at this point in time. Like, you've gone through this whole thing of like finding yourself, but you are still part of the acting community. So through that whole like evolution of enlightenment, that this whole thing that you went through, right? Like, now bringing that and like saying, okay guys, look, like there's something here for you, start delving deeper, start looking. So for me, it's just like, if you're listening and you are part of a community, I mean, what Buckso has done for me is like really gorgeous, because it's like opening up a whole community to a new way of thinking and reconnecting with themselves. So I applaud you. I absolutely love this initiative.
And it's people don't know what they don't know, okay?
Mm.
And if they don't know that something like this exists, then they're not going to do anything about it. So
Yeah.
it's imperative that I get the word out. And it's not about making a successful business out of it and sitting back and watching the money fall in. No, it's not about that, because I will not have people in that space that haven't got the right outset mindset from the outset. Okay,
Mm,
it's got to be the right people in that space, because I'm not having people in there that are fixed mindset. I'm not
mm,
having people in there that blame external factors for how their life is, because people need to understand. I'll be teaching them around the universal law of cause and effect. We are the cause of the
mm,
effects in our life. And the
mm.
minute you take that on board and take full responsibility, oh my gosh, the empowerment that comes from that statement alone, nobody can dictate. You're not a puppet on anybody's strings,
Yeah.
And this is what I
Yeah.
want to do going forward in the industry. We've had the Me Too campaign because it was given legs 100 odd years ago, however many years ago, when women sold themselves short by
Yeah.
doing that, and it's time to teach the next generation of people
Yeah.
going into the entertainment world. This is not how it works, guys. You get to decide how this works. The performers created the Me Too campaign. I'm going to put a neck on the line by saying that. You
Yeah.
created that unbeknownst to yourselves. You
Mm,
created that. You gave them the ammunition to be able to get away with it. And
mm.
now it's time to turn the face the other way. You've got to start doing something. You've got to start doing things in a different and a new way. We
Yeah.
can't go back to the old way. There is no normal. People need to let that word go. It's gone. We've had a
Yeah.
huge shift in
Yeah.
this world, man. You got to move. You got to get a move on with it. Or you're going to get left behind. You're going to
Yeah.
struggle through life. Mm.
Oh, I love that. And I love your passion about this as well. I mean,
I'm on fire. I'm on fire right now.
we can speak for like a year about this, but I really like, yeah, I just so appreciate it, because someone has to always start. There always has to be the first person to put their hand up and go, this is it. And doing things like this will hopefully inspire our listeners as well to like put their hand up and go, I'm in this industry, I'm in that industry, wherever you are. Like, how are you making changes? Okay. And
Correct.
can you be this passionate about it? So, yeah,
Find that thing that you're passionate about, and you only get your passion from birthing your truth,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
you find that out from removing trauma in your life.
yeah,
Okay, get rid of all the trauma, release yourself. Wisdom is trauma minus emotion equals
mm,
wisdom, right?
mm,
And if we go through life knowing that, why wouldn't we want it? Why
that's
wouldn't we want, oh, I don't get trauma, but I've not been traumatized though, Buckso. And we've all been traumatized. And it doesn't
yes.
have to be a car accident or a plane crash. It can
Mm,
be words that are spoken consistently on a daily basis by osmosis. It's
mm,
what you're allowing yourself to be spoken to now as a 25-year-old. It's
yeah.
all part of the process. As a 50-year-old, how are you allowing people to speak to you?
Mm,
It's all part of the trauma that adds up.
yeah. Oh, okay, that's beautiful. So I could literally speak to you all day, but I don't
I
have.
know, and I could talk forever. You know this.
But I still, oh man, it's amazing. So tell the listeners, please, where can they find you? Like, where, how do they connect with you if they want to work with you? Because she's also a coach. So, like, there's
Yes,
lots of wisdom here, as you can hear. There's like so
yes.
much stuff here. So just yeah, give us a quick overview of how to
Okay.
get hold of you.
So I work with people on a one-to-one basis on a 12-week program, unearthing the diamond within. And if you want to work with me one-to-one, we can chat about that. The Online Academy for Conscious Performers is a group environment. I've said performers because I've got a nail a niche, but anybody can join that space who's looking for personal development, because there's not going to be anything performance related. I might have people VIP that want to ask me some acting related work. That's fine, but that won't interfere with the collective. And I'm also doing workshops as well, voice activation workshops that you can be a part of. And this is all, you can be connecting with me on my website, which is all the W's, bucksodw.com. That's BUCKSODW.com, or on Instagram at The Vibrant Sage. So please get in touch and say where you heard me, because I'll give a special discount to anybody that comes through this radio show.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. And yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we've worked together for a while, and I absolutely just love your energy and what you bring. And I'm just so passionate about people standing up and leading from their souls like you've done. So thank you so much for
Well,
starting
thank you,
these movements.
Yolandi, as
Yeah.
well. Thank you for working like you did with me for the last few months. And, you know, a lot of that has helped in me finding my truth and discovering who I am and knowing the many facets of who I am and that I've forgotten about from past lives, etc. So thank you for your work. And this woman is amazing at DNA activation, by the way, guys, just so you know that.
Okay, fabulous. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you. And yeah, go check her out, guys, and definitely follow her on Instagram as well. Like there's lots of entertainment there to be had as well. Okay, so have a beautiful week ahead, and I'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.